Welcome to Digital Real Estate Secrets, episode number 6. My name is Nick Wood, and today I am going to tell you why I personally believe you should start today, not tomorrow, not in a week, not when you move to the new house. It's why you should start today, and I'm going to be covering that in depth. For those of you that might be thinking, well, I don't know. No, we're going to be talking about some nitty-gritty stuff. And for anyone that's thinking right now that, oh, there's a future time when it's going to be a better time, or I'm too late, or I've got this thing coming up, or my job, whatever. I am going to show you today on this episode. I'm going to tell you that, and this isn't just me telling you, this is me showing you by my actions that you need to start today. If you're going to start, you need to start today. Again, Nick Wood is my name. I've been doing this for 8 years. I have made a lot of mistakes. I've lost a lot of money doing this. I almost quit twice. The most recent time was in 2019 when I got to be about $60,000 in debt. Let's see, what else have I messed up on? I've spent $1.45+ million in ads. I've had a falling out with one of my best friends. He's now back with me. Shout out to you, Kyle. I let him go because I was a bit greedy on some stuff. I've done everything wrong. I built 50 websites in the wrong niche. I've run ads and I'm just going through this so you guys understand that I have paid the piper. And there were times that I paid too much to the piper because I didn't really need to pay that much, but I just didn't get it quick enough. And for me, when I was coming up and I was trying to figure this model out, I bought courses and I was part of groups, but I never had anyone that I could look at that was like, hey, that person, they've made it. They've figured out how to make $1 million. There was no one that I could look at and that actually made the kind of money that I aspired to make by doing the actual business model, which is building simple websites, renting them out to local business owners, building simple websites, ranking them in Google, getting phone calls to come from them, and then renting them to local business owners. Everyone that I knew that was making good money they started a program, they were selling, they were teaching how to do it, right? And make no mistake, guys, I do that as well. I have a program called Digital Landlords, but I didn't start doing that until I made $1 million 2 years in a row. And to be honest, I either did it, it was either do it right now, Nick, because there's an opportunity. People are asking you questions. They want to know. You have a system and a process and a method that people need and they want, or just say you don't like money. Like I couldn't not do it because I had people reaching out to me and it was just an obvious thing to do. And I also don't blame anyone that gets into this business model. You figure something out that's different than me and you figure out how to crush it. You figure out how to get to, $250,000 per month in a year by using Facebook ads or by doing whatever. Figure it out first, become the expert. As people start to reach out to you and say, hey, can you teach me? That's when you know you're onto something. Not one person, but I had dozens of people messaging me, probably hundreds of people messaging me saying, hey, what are you doing? How are you able to get these deals? How are you scaling so quickly? They were seeing that I was getting deals. They were seeing the posts I was making in these groups, my Stripe accounts, and they were very, very interested. So, but I've kind of gotten off track here. What I'm saying is that I made millions of dollars doing this model, building simple websites and renting them out before I ever opened my mouth and started teaching it. And I want to be that person for you. For you that's watching this, that's never even heard of this business model, or that's heard and maybe watched a couple episodes, that's thinking about getting in, you're driving, maybe you're in another business, maybe you're in mortgages, or maybe you're in door-to-door sales or whatever, and you're listening to this podcast as you're driving to work going, wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't it be so cool to be able to get paid? Guys, literally think about this. It's it's a beautiful Thursday afternoon. I am sitting in the most comfortable clothes ever, wearing my ball cap. It's the house is perfectly, the temperature's nice. I'm drinking my water. I just got done eating my lunch. I'm in shorts. I'm just chilling and I'm getting paid to do something that I never thought I'd get paid to do. And that is literally to build simple websites and then rent them to local business owners. It's amazing. Okay. And keep in mind, I was the guy that had to go knock on doors to get paid. I didn't get a college degree. I'm not one of those smart finance guys or a doctor or whatever. I was doing door knocking, and I remember thinking, wouldn't it be amazing if I could make money sitting at my computer? Imagine being able to just sit at my desk, wake up in the morning, get on my robe and my slippers and walk to my desk and make money. It sounds crazy. Not to mention the idea of traveling and making money, which, by the way, I just barely got back from Dubai for my second time. I've spent 2 of the last 3 months there, and today I'm flying from Vegas to Alabama to watch Alabama and Georgia. And I'm mentioning that to you guys because this is what I wanted when I started. I wanted the laptop lifestyle. I want to be able to see the world. I wanted life on my terms. I want to be able to take my son and say, "Hey, let's go to one of the greatest college football games that's going to be played this year," and not worry about paying for it. And I'm also taking my brother. I'm taking my dad. I'm paying for everything. Like, it's been amazing, and it's all been possible because of this business model. Okay, so my promise to you guys for this episode, my goal for this episode is by the end of this episode, I want to motivate you guys to take action today. Okay, and to wake up to the fact that there's never been a better time for you to get into this business model, but to also realize that the window of opportunity is not open forever. And you better take it, or it will be, and could be one of the greatest regrets that you'll ever have. Okay. So guys, real quick, here's the plan for today. This is just kind of a quick outline. I'm going to first and foremost teach you what my dad taught me while working on the farm that pertains and relates to this business. Okay. I'm going to talk about when I got started and why I didn't wait, even though the timing wasn't perfect. I'm going to talk about why timing is never going to be perfect. I'm going to talk about why, if you develop the habit of just going for it, even if conditions aren't perfect, is going to net be better than waiting for the perfect time. I'm going to talk to you about why now is the perfect time. I'm going to talk to you about why I want you to get started, and why, Nick, why would you want me to get started? Am I not competing with you? Why? It doesn't make any sense. We'll talk about that. Okay. And then I'm going to talk to you about what's going to happen if you wait. Okay, that's going to be the outline for today. And by the way, real quick before we get into it, if you guys like this episode, if you like what you're hearing, if you like the model, if you like the energy, if you like the strategies, the tips, the stuff that we're sharing, like, subscribe, share it with a friend, give me a review. I would really, really appreciate it, so we can push this further and we can continue to preach the gospel of digital freaking real estate. So guys, I'm wearing my Wood Farms hat today. Let's talk about what my dad taught me about farming and how it relates to this business model. This is my family farm, Wood Farms. I worked on that farm from probably the age of 8 was when I started. We'd go hang out with grandpa. Didn't do much at that age. We couldn't do much. We'd pick weeds. We'd do, some stuff like that. Have our sandwich, our box, our bagged lunch. And it was fun in the beginning. And then about age 12, we actually had to start working. We were moving pipe, and we were like literally at age 12 driving tractors and helping my dad harvest the crops. Obviously, we went to school. We weren't like taken out of school, but if we weren't in school, we were working, and it was either school, sports, or working. We really didn't do homework. That was it, and that was my life. That's how I grew up. I did that until I was age 19, and then at age 19, I moved to West Africa and became a missionary. And then from there, I went into door-to-door sales. So that's all I knew. That's literally all I knew before I got into sales. Okay. Now, my dad always used to say something, and it's a very common quote in agriculture, I think, or maybe it's just in farming. But the quote is, "When the sun is shining, it's time to make hay." Okay. When the sun's shining, it's time to make hay. And I never, like, some of you guys maybe like, that's a cool quote. It makes sense. No, but you don't understand unless you've been in that industry, unless you have a dad or you have a family, you don't actually understand how much that is true. And so I just want to explain to you like how real this is. When the crop that we produce, I'm going to just take a second on this. The crop that we produce and produce forever is alfalfa. Now that's a product that you raise, you cut it, you rake it, you let it dry, you bale it, you ship it to California, you ship it overseas, whatever, and it goes to feed milk cows, okay? Specifically. Now this crop is interesting because once you cut it and you rake it, now it's drying, right? And it's got to be completely dry. And then what happens is once it's dry, you wait until there's some moisture in the air. And then when it's perfect, there's a perfect temperature, okay, and a perfect moisture, humidity in the air, you can take a baler. It's a huge thing that you pull with a big John Deere tractor, and you can bale it into these massive bales, okay? And so that's the baling side. But also when you do the raking, so like you know that you grow the crop and then you cut the crop and then you got to rake it. And the reason you rake is you have to rake it together first and foremost. Secondly, you have to flip it so it can dry. But if you rake it at the wrong time, if you rake it when it's too dry outside, then what happens is all the leaves fall off of the crop when you flip it because it's dry and crunchy, and you lose a bunch of weight, which is tonnage, and they weigh this by tonnage. You lose the quality because now it's just stem instead of leaf, and the leaf is where all the nutrients are. And so there's these windows of time that you have to hit. And when it's time to rake, if it's 4:32 in the morning or it's 5:17, boy, when it's time to rake, when it's time to bale, when it's time to cut, when it's time to do certain things, nothing comes before it. Not vacations, not being sick, not playing video games, not napping, nothing. Okay. In fact, the only thing that comes before it is God, because on Sundays, even if it's ready, we don't work. And I still do that to this day. So shout out to my dad for teaching me that. But other than God, nothing comes before it. Okay. And so there were so many times in my life, and I remember one specific time. I'll share this last thing that just to kind of highlight, and this is my dad probably going to kill me for sharing the story, but I was a senior in high school, or maybe, and I was a senior, I think it was a senior or junior. Maybe it was junior going into senior year, junior summer going into senior year. Just went up. We had 2-a-days. So it was morning weights, and then we'd have football practice in the afternoon, like our actual scrimmaging and our plays and everything else. So we're doing 2 days. It's hell week, right? And everyone else, as soon as weights got off or practice got off, they were going and they were playing PlayStation and hanging out at friends' house, doing this, doing that. We were not. It's like, hey, you're gonna go do weight training, you're gonna come back, we're working. That's just the game. That's just how it worked, man. And I hated it at the time. Of course, I appreciate it now because I learned the value of hard work. However, this specific day, we went and we got done with training. We're like, dude, let's go sneak over to the gas station, get a chocolate milk. Like, that sounds so delicious and it's good. It's good for us. We thought that time. This was way before protein drinks were delicious. So we sneak up to the gas station. We're not paying attention. We have the flip phone. One of us has them, or we both have them, and we're not really paying attention. And we get just about home. We're not driving slow, but we're kind of taking our time, just enjoying, chatting. Yeah, what about this? What about that? And all of a sudden I look at my phone and I have like 7 missed calls. And I look, I can't remember who was driving. No, I was driving. I looked at my brother and I said, dude, we're screwed. And so dude, I gas it. I'm smashing the gas. I'm flying up the dirt road. We used to actually live on the farm. We still do. My dad still lives on the farm. And I can see as we get close, I could see my dad outside and he's pacing. And as we get closer, I'm like, my brother's name is Zach. He also does this business model as well. He's a police officer and does this as well. I said, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to roll in. You're going to jump out and you're going to get changed. And I'm literally going to just start. Like, go change, get started. And we pull in. I don't even stop the car. He's out. He's running inside, trying to avoid my dad. And I just look over at my dad. He grabs a 12-pack of soda and he throws it out of his car and he smashes this on the ground and it gets scattered. And he didn't even need to say a word to me. I already knew, like, we were playing with the time, the making hay time. We were late and it was time and we were 20, whatever, even if it was 7 minutes, we were missing that window because as soon as it got too hot, we were missing that window, and that could have cost us thousands and thousands of dollars. And it was unacceptable. And I didn't understand. I just thought my dad was crazy at the time, but it was unacceptable. And so, guys, this quote means a lot to me because I grew up on a farm. We still own the farm. My dad still does it. My little brother Porter, shout out to you, Porter. He's at $9,400 per month doing this, as well as working side by side with my dad. He's taken over the family farm, but also doing digital real estate, which means anybody can do it. We're still in this farm. We're still involved in this, and this quote means a lot to me, and I really understand it because I saw it firsthand. Okay, so I want to start off with that, and we're going to talk about how that relates to this business model. Okay, so I guess what I'll say lastly on that is that there are windows of time, there are windows of opportunity when things need to be done. And those windows of opportunity don't last forever. When it's time to rake hay, when it's time to cut hay, when it's time to bale hay, You can't just say, I'm going to take a nap and I'm going to catch it later. No, it's time now. It's dictated by the weather. And what I would say with this model and with any opportunity in life, there are windows of time. And if you catch them at the right window, then you can make a lot of money. You can change your life forever. And if you miss them, you not only will be able to, you not only will miss the opportunity, but it will be one of the biggest regrets of your life. And I've had opportunities that I've missed and they don't last forever. And those windows aren't open forever. Okay. So guys, let me tell you really quick when I got started. It was 2016. I had been introduced to this model via a podcast that one of my friends interviewed a guy, and he was talking about this model, and it was just kind of very like basic level, saying, hey, you can build a website and then you can rank it, and then phone calls are going to come in, and then you're going to send the phone calls to a local business owner. And it made all the sense in the world to me. And I was obsessed. I listened to this podcast like 3 or 4 times, maybe like you guys have also done with some of my episodes, maybe not. Maybe some of the interviews, maybe not. But for me, I couldn't get out of my head. I was consuming. I was going on the rabbit hole, watching videos, watching the same podcast again and again and again. This person didn't have a YouTube channel. It was like this one podcast. And I was just daydreaming about this thing, right? And so I'd watch this 3 or 4 times. I go out. This is my last summer. I've decided this is my last summer doing door-to-door sales. I'm in Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama. And my very first day, my licensing isn't done. So I can't legally knock doors. So what I have to do is in Alabama, I'm walking around and selling with my manager, but I can't really talk legally. So I'm basically just with him because it didn't feel right to sit at home and I wanted to stay sharp or whatever. And I remember on the day one of that summer, 4 months to go, I realized I'm done. I'm not going to be able to make it. I have to start something now. My goal was to finish the summer. When the summer ended, to pick this, start doing this model. I realized I needed to do it now. But the problem was I made all my money in a 4 month period. I made all my money in, April, May, June, July. So about 4.5 months, part of August. That's where I made money for the entire year. This money was going to pay for everything. It was going to pay for my mortgage. It was going to pay for our cars. It was going to pay for our vacations. It was going to pay for me to launch the business. And I was sitting here going, dude, let me wait. Like everything told me that I should wait until this summer was over. I should wait until August to do this. Okay. Not only that, guys. So not only was I distracting myself from the thing at hand, but my wife had our second child. At the time, she was on her way. So she was very pregnant. She was going to have the baby in June, ended up having the baby in June, by the way. We had just bought a house, not this house, our other house. We had just upgraded our car because our other car was running on nothing. It was dead, and I was worried about whatever. We just bought a new car. By the way, it's a Prius. Shout out to Prius. Anyway, all of these things. And by the way, I was also the co-manager with another guy. We had like 15 or 20 people on our team. We had a son. I had a lot of stuff. Okay. And I just knew deep down that I needed to do it. I just knew that if I didn't do it then, that I never would. Or if I didn't do it then, that I would regret not doing it then. And so even though the timing was the worst, in literally it was in May. I think what ended up happening is that day I ended up watching a few more videos. I signed up for a call. It was like a week or two later, I ended up joining my first program. I dropped $8,000 on this. I remember calling my wife and telling her, hey, babe, you remember that thing I told you about? She's like, what thing? I'm like, yeah, that thing I told you about yesterday or last week or whatever. I showed her like 2 seconds of something thinking that she was following along. She's like, kinda. I'm like, yeah, it's $8,000. I'm on the phone, right? I'm like, can I get it? What do you think? She's like, what are you talking about? Then my son started crying. He's like, can we talk later? And I'm on the phone with the guy trying to sell me the program. Anyway, long story short, I ended up buying it. We got in a fight, but I made millions of dollars from this business model. So I always remind her that she got to trust me. She's just got to trust me. Timing was wrong. What I should have done in a perfect world is I should have waited until the child was born. I should have waited until the summer was over. I should have waited until I got back and everything was good and T's were crossed, I's were dotted, blah, 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 blah. But that's not how I am. That's not how I roll. I knew that it was time to go, and I did it even though the timing was wrong. And guys, I want you to know, I got 2 deals. I got my first 2 deals. I got 2 people paying me for my services renting out websites before I even went home from that summer. And I developed a routine where I would go and knock doors from 1 or 2 till dark. I'd go and get my Chipotle. I'd eat it, I'd shower, and I'd sit on my stomach on the ground in my apartment and work on building my business. And I was watching training videos and I was looking at niches and I was trying to build a website and I was trying to figure out how to get a tracking number and I was trying to think about, is this going to work? And all these different things. And keep in mind, everyone else on my team is watching Netflix or they're hanging out or they're doing this or they're doing that, and I'm building my business. And the timing was awful, but I knew that I needed to do it then. Okay, guys, I want you to know timing is never going to be perfect. And I mean that with your business. I mean the time of when you should start this business, when you should start any business is never going to be perfect. The time when you should get married is never going to be perfect. Oh, I'm going to wait until I have enough money and this. It's never, because when you get to there, you're going to think you need more. The time when you decide to have a kid, you're not going to be ready. It's never going to be perfect. When I decided to go to West Africa to be a missionary, I was in love with a girl that's actually the person I ended up marrying. And I was like, how can I was about ready to go. I'd gone to a semester of college. I was in the middle of college. Like all my friends it didn't make sense. It didn't. The timing was off. I'm like, what? Maybe I should do college and finish college and then I can go and like, or that. No, I just sent it, baby. I just freaking sent it. But I just need you guys to know that no matter what you do in life, whether it's relationships, no matter it's deciding when to get in shape, deciding when to start that diet, deciding when to go have that hard conversation, timing's never going to be perfect. You guys got to just start sending it, which is what I'm going to talk about here in just a minute. Okay. In fact, let's talk about that right now. I promise you guys right now from experience that if you'll be the person that instead of saying, hey, I'm going to wait for this to happen or that to happen or the time to be perfect, when something is in front of me, I'm going to take advantage. I promise you, although once in a while you're going to get burned, once in a while you're going to take a licking, once in a while you're going to get punched in the face because it doesn't always work out. I promise you it's going to work out way more times than it's not. Okay. Because this is a recurring theme of my life of when there's an opportunity, I take it, I double down, I triple down, and I freaking go for it. And yes, I've lost money. Yes, I've done things that have been, that have been mistakes because I sent it. But I've gotten way more. There's been way more things that I've done when I felt like I needed to do them, or when they came into my gut, said, Nick, do it. Even though it doesn't make sense on paper, it just feels right. It's the opportunities here. Go. I don't have all the answers. I've made way more money and had way more success by following that mentality than I've ever gotten hurt. Okay. Let me give you one more example of this exact same mentality of just sending it. In 2021, just keep in mind, 2020, we made 7 figures doing this business model. 2021, we made $1.45 million, which is funny because that is the exact same amount that I've spent on ads. Okay. But we made $1.45 million gross in 2021. At the end of 2021, I started getting inundated with messages, people asking me, can you teach me your process? What do you do here? How do you do this? What do you do? Because I'm in these groups and I'm posting and I'm sharing and people are wanting to know. And I dumped everybody into a Facebook group, which, by the way, you guys can still be a part of. That Facebook group just hit its 3-year anniversary. It's the Art, A-R-T of Dre, Art of Dre, DRE.com, which is the art of digital real estate, ARTOFDRE.com. That's our Facebook group. It's the Art of Digital Real Estate is the name of the Facebook group. I put everyone in the Facebook group and I started just sharing. I started going live once a week and just sharing my strategy, sharing my tips, sharing the niches I was in, just sharing. And after a couple months, I realized, because at first this was just a way for me to answer questions without being a dick. And then I realized, dude, people really like what I'm talking about and people are really interested. And this idea started to form like, I think I could put together a program and there's a lot of money that could be on the table here. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to do the program. And I started thinking, when would be the best time to launch the program? And by the way, when I was having these thoughts, this was November, right? It's like mid-November. And I'm thinking, dude, if I launch this right now, this is like one of the harder times of the year to get leads. And I launch this right now. And what if my students put up ads and it's a slower time and they can't get leads? And then I can't have success stories and then this and that. And I had all these what ifs, right? I also thought about the fact that, well, it's holidays and everyone wants to be with their family. No one wants to start a new business. Everyone's thinking about spending money on Christmas. And all of these things telling me no, but I was like, you know what? And guys, it came to me a week before Thanksgiving. I realized I need to do this right now. I'm not waiting for the spring. I'm not waiting for the new year. I need to do it now. And so the timing was exactly the worst time, according to all the experts. I launched my program on a Monday, which is a no-no. I put everyone into a webinar, and I did a Monday. Webinars are no-nos. It's supposed to be like Thursday or something like that. I did a Monday webinar because I just needed to do it. Okay. I announced that we were going to do a webinar the day before Thanksgiving. I went live the day before Thanksgiving. You know, when everyone's like having like pie and talking about the turkey bowl plans. Literally the night before, everyone in our family was having pizza. I was at the office telling everyone, "Hey, I'm going to be doing a webinar on Monday. If you want to apply, here's the link. On Monday, I'm going to be talking about this program I'm going to be releasing." By the way, guess what, guys? I didn't have the program. I hadn't built it. I hadn't even outlined it. I didn't have anything. I didn't have a Facebook group. I didn't have a program. I was like, you know what? And then when they got in on Monday, I told them, hey, you guys are going to pay this. You're going to get a discount because you're trusting me and that I know what I'm talking about. But there's no program. I'm going to put you in a Facebook group. There's no modules. There's no people in there. It's brand new. And you're going to have to just give me that trust. That's it. Theoretically, I should have had my program built. I should have done all this stuff. I sent it. And guys, not only was it Monday, it was Cyber Monday. You're not supposed to do it on holidays. Everything was bad about when I did it. And I sent it. I had 33 people on the call. 32 of the 33 people bought. Okay. We crushed it the very first day that we launched this thing. And of those people, we had people that I don't know if there was a person that didn't get a deal before the first of the year of that first group of people. And guess what? It was during the quote unquote hardest time of the month, December, Christmas, and people were still getting deals and there was excitement and we made it happen and we just freaking sent it. Guys, get in the habit of sending it. Okay. I just talked to somebody literally today and they applied. They're like, hey, I want to do digital landlords and whatever. And they get on and like, yeah, but interest rates just went down and the mortgages has picked up a lot of last week. And I'm like, dude, this is the same business that's like completely cheated on you for 2 years. That's giving you no business. And now you're going to get excited about it. And you're going to say that he's like, hit me up in a couple weeks in December. I'm like, no, this is it. We're not hitting you up and you ain't hitting us. This is not a good fit. You're not a good fit for what we do. If you're going to wait for perfect timing, because guess what's going to happen in December, guy? You're going to be like, oh, it's Christmas and we just bought little Johnny the bike and we just did this, we did that, and we got this fake. Nope. That's not a fit for me. Okay. Get in the habit of sending it. And I promise you, yeah, you're going to get a couple lickings. You're going to get a couple bruises. It's just part of life. But you're going to make way more. You're going to have way more success and make way more money by just freaking going for it. Okay. Now, everyone asks me, well, why should I start now? I personally believe now is the perfect time to start. Okay. Here's why. No one knows about this model. I know that when we get in these Facebook groups and when you just kind of start hearing about digital real estate, you start listening to podcasts, you start getting, Facebook's or YouTube's really good about giving us exactly what we watch. We're watching a video on digital real estate. Now this guy's talking about this guy. It looks like the whole internet's talking about digital real estate. But guys, compared to anything else, drop shipping, Etsy shops, print on demand, TikTok shop, this business model is unheard of. Okay. Now, if you don't believe me, go call 10 people. Go to your phone. Pick 10 random people. Don't care. Go ask all 10 of them. Have you heard of digital real estate? Have you heard of rank and rent digital real estate? All 10 of them are going to say no. Maybe not. Maybe you get lucky. One of them's like, yeah. And he's probably lying. She's probably lying. Those people that said no, which is all 10 of them, let me tell you about it. You're going to say, let me tell you about it. It's a business model where you go and you build a simple website for, home services, concrete, tree service, etc. You do some SEO, you get it to rank on Google, and phone calls start coming to this website. And all you do is you take that website and you just you push those phone calls to a business owner. You forward them to a business owner and you get paid every month. And once it's ranked, you don't have to touch it. It's like regular real estate, but it's online. Tell all 10 of those people that said they don't know what it is. You know what all 10 of them are going to say? Dude, that's genius. That's so smart. That's such a good idea. Okay. So guys, no one's heard about it. Okay. No one. Compared to any other business model, no one. This is a tiny little corner of the internet. And I know when we get in these groups, like it seems like everyone's doing it. No, nobody's doing this. Okay. So first and foremost, no one really knows about it. But here's the good part. When I started this in 2016, I didn't know anyone that made $1 million. I didn't know anyone that made $50,000 in a month. I didn't know anyone that had made 30,000. I had a couple people in the group that were like posting a picture of their $800 commission check from this tree service deal. But it was still wild, wild west, dude. The person running the program at the time wasn't even in the game, right? Fast forward to today, 8 years later from when I started, this sucker's been proven. I've made millions of dollars from it. One of my students, Ryan Dalton, just hit $86,000. $86,000. He started just over 2 years ago, and he still has his full-time job. And he does jujitsu with his kids, and he's got a dog, and he's got kids, and he's got a wife. And I mean, dude, and he just hit $86,000 per month. He started 2 years ago. Okay. When I started, people were asking the same question. Oh, it might be saturated. I don't know. I missed the window, right? Now is the best time to start because it's been proven because of people like me, people like Ryan, people like you've got a bunch of people in my group. We've got Mike V, a guy that's from New Zealand, moved to Thailand. He's making $40,000 USD in New Zealand. In New Zealand. His clients are in New Zealand. By the way, if you haven't seen that interview, go to YouTube, type in Mike V. Nick Wood. You'll see it. We've interviewed him a few times. He just hit $40,000 per month USD. Okay. Doing this in New Zealand. It's been proven and it's untouched. And I know to you, because you're sitting there and you're in some of these groups and you're seeing these videos, you think everyone's doing it. Nobody is doing this. Okay. On top of that, all of us are in the same niches. We're just all hitting concrete. We're all hitting tree service. We're all hitting masonry. We're all hitting fencing. We're all hitting spray foam. We haven't talked about any of the other stuff. There's so many niches. And not only that, there's new niches being created every day. And there's new niches that we're discovering that this model works for every day. Guys, there has never been a better time to get started. There are tens of thousands of untapped opportunities. And when I say untapped opportunities, I mean niche and city combinations. Okay. Now, Nick, why do you want us to get started? Why would you want us to get started? I had my friend ask me this yesterday. In fact, I was just barely on a call about an hour ago. Somebody joining our program, and I was telling him this story too. So a friend of mine, he's been following me for years. I've known him since high school, and every time I post him on my story, he's like, "Dude, that's rad. That's that." Finally, about 2.5 weeks ago, he's like, "All right, F it, I'm in." That's what he says to me. I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I'm like, apply here. My team's gonna call you, and then you're gonna get on a call, and we'll see if it's a good fit. And he's like, well, okay, before I do that, I just have a question for you. I'm like, yeah, ask me. He goes, why do you want people to do this? Isn't that like them competing with you? Why would you want me to do this? And I said to him, I said, number one, I'm not allergic to money. And I explained to him, like, I had all these people asking me about what I do and how I do it and my exact process that I was basically saying no to millions of dollars if I didn't do it. Number one, because I'm not going to lie about it and pretend I just want to be a good person. I'm not allergic to money. Okay. But secondly, as I said to him, you have a scarcity mentality like the rest of the human race. And you think that just because you can't come into this space, it's going to take money out of my pocket, which is not true. Okay. And I find myself saying that with this quote I'm about to say, every single time I have a conversation. I don't know why, but guys, the laws of marketing state. I think I say this every single time I do an episode because whenever I ask you guys to share this episode or share that episode or give me a review or tell a friend or post it on your story or ask you to, that I want to remind you that the laws of marketing state that the more familiar a person is with a product or service, the more apt they are to buy. How do I know this is true? Well, when I used to do door-to-door sales, we used to go to cities. And I'll just give you the exact example. In 2013, we went to this city called Bentonville, Arkansas. You guys have heard me talk about Bentonville Concrete. That's how I even heard of Bentonville. It's the headquarters of Walmart. In 2013, it was my first year. We went to these neighborhoods and we hit, I swear we hit every door. We knocked the crap out of that city. Okay. There's a team of like 20 of us. We knocked and knocked and knocked and knocked and knocked. Every neighborhood in that city got hit. Every door got hit. Now, of course, there are some people that weren't home, but every door got knocked on. Finished that year. The next year, I'm like, all right, where are we going? They're like, all right, we're gonna let you guys know. They call us. They're like, we're going to Bentonville. I'm like, huh? The same Bentonville? Yeah. I'm like, we already knocked those doors. They're like, no, you don't understand. That's the thing is it's better the second time. I'm like, no, 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 no. Sure enough, same doors, same neighborhoods, same people that said no last year. Some, not all of them, but some of those people, you, before we even could get out the pitch, we knocked on the door. Hey, I remember you from last year. Come in. Hey, I saw the sign. I talked to Susie. We had a break in 2 months ago. Come in. That whole year, those people saw our signs. We had these orange yard signs. I used to work for this company called Vivint. They saw the trucks. They saw that, oh my goodness, Linda down the street, she bought from that guy? I can't believe I didn't. What am I missing out on? And for a year, they got to, or 8 months, they sat there and they got to, or 8 or 10 months, whatever. They became more familiarized and they began to trust it more. And then they saw the commercial, and then they saw this ad, and then they saw this. And guess what? The next year we went, those people were ready to buy. I remember this is the most extreme example I can give you. There's a neighborhood, it's a no soliciting neighborhood. I went into it. I had to sneak into it, knock a couple doors, get a sale, sneak back out because these people were calling the police. By the way, that's not illegal, just for the record. So, long story short, it was just that the neighbors had the mindset it was illegal. Anyway, I knocked this door, and this person, I could see they had a glass door. They literally came storming at the door. Can't remember this guy. It was a man, and he opened the door and he said some of them. I don't even know what he said because I just kind of went numb. He said some strings of expletives that just shook me, okay, as a 22, 23-year-old kid, and slammed the door. And I was like, I'm going to go ahead and get out of this neighborhood for a couple hours because this guy is going to call the police. And I avoided this guy's house the entire summer. Every time I went in there, I would avoid his house, make sure he didn't see me. If I saw him coming, I'd like literally like hide by the side of a house because I thought he was going to call the cops. Next summer, we go to the exact same area. This is 2014. That was 2013, the first time. I don't go into that neighborhood. I put one of my sales reps into that neighborhood because I'm like, dude, I knocked the living bloody heck out of that neighborhood. And so I go and I drop this guy, one of my reps named Seth. And he calls me and he's like, "Hey, he got a deal that day." And I said, "Dude, great job, good work. Who was it?" Because I know I know every person in that neighborhood. There's only like 30 houses. I said, "Who'd you sell?" Like, "Great job, first day, boom." He's like, "Funny enough, the person I sold so and so." I was like, "I don't recognize the name." He's like, "Yeah, they told me to tell you sorry because last year they freaked out on you." And he said it was the easiest sale of my life. I knocked on the door and the guy literally asked me to come in, and it was a complete, what we call a laydown. Okay. So guys, why do I want you to get started? Well, number one, I'm not allergic to money. Number two is you doing this business model, you getting involved, you calling Tuscaloosa Concrete, you calling Tuscaloosa Tree Service business owners, St. George business owners, Las Vegas business owners, Minneapolis business owners. It's not hurting me. It's only helping me. We are spreading the gospel of digital real estate. We are telling business owners, hey, there's a business model out there where I'm going to own the website. I'm going to get you phone calls and you're going to pay me for leads. And we're familiarizing the entire country and countries with the concept, with the idea, with the model. And we're making it easier for the next person that calls that area, for the next person that calls that business owner. Yeah, if you're a complete doorknob, you may tick that person off, but I'm going to call that same exact person the next year, and I'm going to be fine because I know what to say. And I'm going to be like, yeah, that was just our whatever. That guy was brand new. He didn't know what he was talking about. Let me tell you what we really do, right? I don't care. The more people we can get into this model, the more successful all of us are going to be. I truly believe that. It's not because I'm trying to give myself some kind of a reason, like some kind of a justification for why I'm trying to bring people into this. I have seen it firsthand that the more people see your company, the more people that are exposed to a certain thing, the more people that have security systems in a city, right? The more likely you are to sell security systems. Period. You go in there, there's nobody that has a security system. You're like, hey, let me tell you about this thing called security systems. Good luck. We want everyone to know what rank and rent digital real estate is. That's the goal. So contrary to what you think, I'm not Mr. Scarcity. I'm Mr. Abundant. And I want you guys in this business model, number one, because I want to make money, obviously. And if you guys get into this, you guys take what you learned in my podcast, take what you learned in my free Facebook group, and you just go start doing this, then you're going to realize all the stuff that you don't know. Then you're going to realize, oh my gosh, setting up ads isn't as easy as it seems. Oh my gosh, what about this? What about that? Then you're going to realize, oh, all the answers are in Nick's program. I'm gonna be completely candid with you. That's how this works. Okay. So yes, I will make money from this. No problem. That's not something I'm trying to hide. But number two is you're also helping me and everybody else because the more people that do this, the more that we're going to be successful. That's just a fact. So that, my friends, is why I want you to get started, because the laws of marketing state that the more familiar a product is with a product, the more familiar a person is with a product or service, the more apt they are to buy. Have an abundance mindset. What's going to happen if you guys wait? What's going to happen if you guys wait? Well, you might not know immediately. You might not know when you missed your opportunity. You might not know when that window actually closed. But what I can tell you is that if you guys decide to wait, number one, I'm just going to keep doing deals. If you don't want to do it, no problem. Okay. No problem at all. I would like you to, because you're actually going to help me by coming in and doing this, but that's okay. But what's going to happen is you guys are going to miss out on one of the greatest opportunities, in my opinion, in internet history. Okay. Right now, this is not the greatest example because Bitcoin is doing whatever Bitcoin's doing. You guys remember back in, was it 2020, when Bitcoin was just all the rage and everyone was talking about Bitcoin, and it went to, was it $80,000 a coin? I don't even remember what it was. Maybe I'm completely off on my years and my numbers, but I think it was high. And we've all heard these stories of these Luke Belmars and some of these guys that made some money in crypto and whatever, right? But I remember thinking, dude, I'm such an idiot. Why didn't I just buy 10 coins in 2012 or 2014? And at 2014, I didn't even know anything about anything. So there's no way I actually could have. But I remember thinking, dude, I could have made millions of dollars, millions of dollars. I'm not saying this is Bitcoin, okay? Because we're comparing apples and oranges. But what I'm saying is that same feeling that I had of, man, I should have got into it. I truly believe if you guys miss this window of opportunity, it's going to be that same, just that pain of regret going, I remember hearing about that model. I remember that guy talking about this guys, I hear people every single week that get on a call to join our program, and not all of them, but some of them every single week go, yeah, I've actually heard about this business model. I heard about it back in 2018 and I wasn't really sure, and this came up and that came up, and here I am. And I sit there and go, while you've been doing whatever you've been doing, I've been making millions of dollars. I've been going on the trips of my life, doing things that I never thought I'd be able to do at this age, because I said yes, that I went for it when I saw the opportunity. I realized the sun was shining and it was time to make hay. So guys, my challenge to you is to wrap your head around the fact, number one, be at peace, get at peace with the fact that timing's never going to be perfect. Never has been, never will be. It just won't. Okay. Number two, ask yourself, does this model make sense? Is this the business model that before that, to ask yourself, do I really want to do something? Do I need to make a change, or am I comfortable where I'm at? But most of you guys, if you're listening to this, I'm assuming you want to make a change. You need to make a change, right? You need to add a side hustle. You need to replace your income. You're tired of having the 9 to 5, or wondering if the mortgage industry is going to do this, or the real estate market's going to do that, right? So if you are sold on the fact that you need to do something, the second question would be, are you sold on this model? Building websites, renting them to local business owners. If you can say yes to both of those things, then my challenge to you is to start today, period. You don't need to necessarily go apply for my program today, because if you start today and you start taking action, you start looking for a city and a niche, you're going to have a million questions, and then you're going to see the value of my program. And if you do somehow pick the right city and the right niche on accident, once you set up the ads, you're going to have a zillion questions, and on and on and on. And eventually it's going to lead to me anyway. But all I ask is that you guys start today. Okay, that's what I want you guys to know. And I want you guys to remember that when the sun is shining, it's time to make hay. Guys, appreciate you guys for being on this episode, listening to me. I know your time is valuable. I know there's a million other things you could be doing, a million other places you could give your attention. So if this was valuable to you, hope to see you on the next one. And I hope that you guys will share this with at least one person. Just share it. Say, hey, this is interesting. You should check this out. And again, guys, as I always like to say, remember, money loves speed. I'll see you on the next episode. I'm out.